Hello, everybody, and welcome to, WarCrafters for January 19th, 2025. It is the second season of our illustrious show. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI from the future, that's the visualizer right there. If you're watching the VOD or the Twitch stream live or YouTube live. The VODs are over on Twitch and YouTube. Maybe it's working. We'll see. We talk about gaming news in WarCrafters. We talk about 5 articles. There's a whole lot more over at ohmTown, so go over there and become a citizen. I don't think you'll regret it. There's also podcasts and 1,700 maybe 1,800 episodes now over on YouTube. We're kind of chugging quite a bit. So, all right, we're going to talk about disavowed. TikTok time is up, and Marvel snapped as well. Steampunk RPG Sovereign Syndicate. This VR game is haunted, and pricing Grand Theft Auto 6. I cannot believe that somebody's arguing for this as a positive, but hey. Based on the weather, hell has frozen over, so I'm not surprised anybody sees a lot of this as positive. Let's get going. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, ohmTown citizens.
And the visualizer is working. Yay! So I'm trying to find somebody that can construct the visualizer in the way that I need it done. And I've had people show interest, but they don't have the chops to do it. So we'll see. But I'm changing the visualizer in 2025 so that it perfectly represents, the sentient AI. So I am about to publish the weekend edition of the Saturday shows as a podcast and as podcasts, I should say, because the way that it works is on Saturday we have the Continuity Report, Wanted, and RealityHacker in reverse order. And then they get turned into a podcast. Each one of those. Dun, dun, dun. So we have 6 different podcasts, 3 on Sunday and 3 on Saturday. And then Monday through Friday is Non Sequitur News. But those 3 on each day become the weekend editions of Non Sequitur News. So you'll always get them no matter what. You'll always get all of the articles. But you don't have to want to sit through an hour and a half plus of Non Sequitur News on the weekends. You can subscribe to just whatever show you're interested in. Make sense? Anyway, thanks for being co-host, Sentient AI. You ready to get into these articles?
I am.
The first one... Hold on a second. The first one is over in WarCrafters, which is the name of this show, but that's not where all of the articles come from. They may, but they don't always. Avowed has mysteriously disappeared from Steam player libraries. I haven't heard anything about this since, so I don't know if it's back because this is a weekly show. It appears that this is within the last couple of days. So
well, it's last night, unless it was an update. So, and
right.
it's indicative, right, of these digital purchases, right, that you've talked about in ohmTown.
Well, because they're not purchases. They're basically agreements to consume. You're not purchasing anything. You're essentially subscribing to a arguably perpetual license, and at any time the rights holder can revoke said. And I'm kind of a victim of that already because I purchased Ticket to Ride, and I've purchased other games. Yeah, Stop Killing Games. I've purchased several games that have just kind of disappeared, right? And The Crew is one of them that kind of set a fire to, oh, pardon me, became a firebrand. Wait, I shouldn't be talking about fires. So became
Made a
the
lot of
noise. Yeah.
noise.
Yeah. Regarding the stop killing games kind of a thing. But you can have your game yeeted from your library at any given time. I don't know how to pronounce this person's name. MD?
Oh, that's interesting.
MD, but then it's abbreviated down there, Armagan. But Armagunadin is their name over at Game Rant. And Avowed has mysteriously disappeared from the libraries of several players who owned the game on Steam, and fans are worried that this may indicate a possible delay. In another ominous development, Avowed's Steam Community Hub has also gone dark. It is.
That's interesting.
I would argue that it is 2025's most anticipated. It's not one of 2025's, but it is 2025's most anticipated title, and is prepped to be one of the year's first major releases. The game was earlier penciled in for fall of 2024, but was delayed to February of 2025 after the developer stated that they wanted more time to publish or polish Avowed. And so I titled this segment Disavowed, because Avowed has disappeared.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know if that's artwork up at the top or just a graphic, but I find that interesting if it's
Pretty
actually from the
telling.
game, right? Because it looks like something's like slipping away.
I believe it is from the game. So it says in a post on Reddit, a username GAZVD. I don't know if it's Gazid. I don't know. But the capital GA makes me think Georgia or something. Shared that the game is no longer visible in their Steam library, and several others have corroborated the issue. Despite missing from their libraries, Avowed's Steam store page shows that they indeed own the game. So far, the issue only appears to affect Steam users, as players who purchase it on Xbox are still able to see the Avowed game in their collection. It says, with just a few days to go before Avowed's release, fans are understandably getting paranoid of the delay. I don't have Steam running right now, so I'm not gonna log it. I'm not gonna
But
look it
it
up.
is interesting that it, at least on Xbox, shows that they purchased it. I don't know if that's some quirk for that
It
platform.
it shows up as being purchased in Steam as well. It just doesn't show up in the library, which is, it's a weird dynamic, because I'll have a game downloaded and in my library, and it'll still tell me that I can play it or install it from the Steam page. It's like it doesn't always sync up properly. But either way, it shows it as being purchased, but you can't click on it. And it's disappeared from the library itself. This happens to me when I'm beta testing something, and they yank the beta code, the testing code.
Like maybe there's some technical issue or something they need to fix.
Yeah, and so they're pulling everything off, and they're going to push a new one, and you still have the right, so it will automatically get put into your library if you have automatic updates still in place for Avowed. So we'll see. I'm really interested in this game. I think that it has an interesting dynamic to it, but I don't know if it's going to be my forever game. I don't know. I'm getting more into this cottagecore kind of a thing. I'm kind of a chill gamer. I don't like the frenetic pace anymore, and I used to be a first-person shooter kind of a game, harkening way back. But now I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm starting to dig. This is really weird. I'm really starting to dig like a chill, peaceful,
like a cozy game.
Cozy not Warcraft. I was gonna say Warcraft, but Minecraft game. So anyway, so we'll watch Avowed, see what happens. I'll probably end up buying it, but playing it for 2 hours. Is everything okay? Let's keep going.
Yeah, the critters in hometown are acting a little amiss.
Oh, and y'all might get to meet the critters here in short order. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm waiting for an update. Well, anyway, the next article is over on the WarCrafters channel as well. Marvel Snap has also been banned alongside TikTok and several other applications. Marvel Snap has been banned in the United States because with TikTok, the company in charge pulled access to Snap. So piss off a lot of people. The hit game was pulled from the mobile app stores due to the same legislation enacting a stateside ban on TikTok.
I mean, I
TikTok.
know TikTok obviously has a gazillion users, but I find it fascinating because we kept hearing TikTok, TikTok, and I believe this is the first time we heard that Marvel Snap would even be impacted.
So if you're in the United States right now, you'll actually see a notice when you do a search for Marvel Snap or TikTok that that and other games or applications have been removed from access. Dominic Bazjik, I think it's Bazjik, put the article together over at GameRant.com, and it says as of January 19th, the new law went into effect. It says Second Dinner suggested that its game will relaunch in the U.S. ASAP, while it's developed in or by California-based Second Dinner. The hit mobile game is published by Newverse, a subsidiary of TikTok owner ByteDance, and so ByteDance is bound by the same rule. You have to divest to a U.S. company. I don't know how that works. Now, I know how it works in other countries because I've gone through this process where if you want to launch a product or a service in some other country, you have to have a domestic partner that manages everything, that runs everything. And while you can steer the partner, they have to be a U.S. company. So on January 19th, a law called Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act and designated HR 7521 or HR Puff and Stuff went into effect. This piece of
I
legislation,
was trying to
Alice,
see if there was an abbreviation that it made, and it looks like it's like PAFACA or something.
yeah, people are getting really puffacked. So it went into effect on January 19th. A lot of people knew that it was coming. You can actually view TikTok online, but you can't access the app. You can't download the app. You can't install it, et cetera, unless you sideload it or whatever. Anyway, because incoming administration is right around the corner, i.e., the 20th. The outgoing administration said punt, and they'll let it fall on the shoulders of the new administration, which I suspect will probably go, oh, that's a lot of money you're showing me. Okay. Yeah, sure, we'll let you stay. But that's just me.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, apparently it's coming back online, or at least TikTok. I don't know about Marvel Snap yet.
If TikTok comes back online, Marvel Snap will be online. Because if Marvel Snap comes online, that's a lower ranking risk than what they are claiming. And they being a contingent of wingnuts that think that there's anything different between what's happening there versus here. It's coming here. Anyway, it says we're actively working on getting the game up as soon as possible, and we'll update you once we have more to share. But I think this is a slippery slope towards an ideological bent that is akin to what goes on in China and other countries that have that same mandate that to do business, you have to have a domestic partner. I've grown up my entire life without that mandate in place. If it's ever been in existence, I don't know. Nobody's ever told me. It's definitely not taught in business school that back in the 40s or in the 20s you had to have a domestic partner, but globalizing and globalization was not a matter of course in the current vein. Now, we all know that globalism existed through countries invading and taking over, but business is a different animal. So that's a longer talk, a longer thing, and well outside the bounds of WarCrafters. So come back and talk when Non Sequitur News is running.
Yeah, I find it really interesting that the developer didn't know about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I found it very interesting as well. Essentially, as soon as ByteDance was told that they can't do business in the United States without a domestic partner, they pulled every asset that they had, where they were the ones that were the target of this policy. But ByteDance is all over the place. So I'm really boggled by why Marvel Snap and TikTok in particular are the only two that are really the focal point of this.
Well, I mean, maybe those are the most used in the US. I don't know, but you're right. I mean, there are multiple things that are affected.
Yeah. And I've said it before. Everybody's worried about Big Brother watching you, but Little Sister is peeking in on you to a much greater degree, and nobody really cares. But hey, go and look up what uh, go look up what everybody else is looking up, and you'll find out what's going on. Anyway, let's keep on moving. And yeah, if you think that there are things that are laggy, like me, it's because I'm doing a job on the side here, and it's slowing down possibly my video, but not. It may not actually show up for everybody. Anyway, so thanks for coming. Anyway, if you want all of today's show notes, and you are over in the Twitch chat, you can get the show notes. They're already in the show notes for the streams over on YouTube. So the live streams already have them embedded, and so you can actually look at the show notes and follow the links. But if you want WarCrafters show notes, you just type in bang WC, and Omatron will spit out all the articles that we're going to be talking about. And we're already halfway through the show, so... This next article is over on WarCrafters as well. Disco Elysium-inspired steampunk RPG Sovereign Syndicate is getting a director's cut. In 2021, less than 2 years after its release, Disco Elysium received a Final Cut update, as well as adding 4 quests, 2 songs, and some additional art and animation. The company kind of went through some turmoil, the creators of Disco Elysium, some HR-related issues, but Sovereign Syndicate, a steampunk CRPG or computer role-playing game quietly released a year ago, is planning something similar. Sovereign Syndicate is set in a version of Victorian London where creatures from mythology walk the streets and steam-powered airships fly overhead. It has you play as multiple protagonists with multiple mysteries to solve. So the article says that this is Disco Elysium inspired. So Jody McGregor put the article together. It's over at pcgamer.com. And again, the deck statement says Sovereign Syndicate's director's cut will be a free upgrade. So go get it now. Maybe the price will go up after this. Who knows? Sometimes that happens. Maybe they're on sale sometimes. Again, I don't have Steam open, so has this little image capture here has that same style as Disco Elysium, except that Disco Elysium is almost isometric, and this is just straight on a still. I don't know what the game actually looks like. So in celebration of Sovereign Syndicate's 1-year anniversary, developer Crimson Herring, Red Herring? Crimson Herring?
Oh, yeah. Didn't even pick up on that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is. So they explained that the studio is currently working on a fully voiced director's cut, which will also have the same new quality of life options and additional comic panels for the action sequences. Those scenes, which play out in sequential art, double as Sovereign Syndicate's combat system, though they use the same skill system as the rest of the game, which is based on tarot cards rather than dice. Interesting style of play there. It has you play as multiple protagonists with multiple mysteries to solve, like finding the identity of the courtesan killer and tracking down missing orphans, each of the 3 main characters has skills that interject into the stream of narration and dialogue, and that's where it most resembles Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium, for me, is the standout game that I watched other people play, and I absolutely loved the storyline, the style of gameplay, etc. It's not my style of game, but I can still appreciate it. Um, I'll have to go and check out if people are playing this and check it out online, like a
Well,
YouTube.
yeah, it seems like it's like a sneaker release.
Yeah, it's flying under the radar, and I think people should go and check it out. It says here elsewhere in the post they mentioned working on localizations as well, so Turkish, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, to come, and possibly more, as well as console ports, with the intention to bring the game to Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch platforms in 2025. But guess what? Nintendo Switch has a new platform, Nintendo Switch 2,
That's
coming
right.
in April.
Are you a fan of director's cuts?
I'm a fan of any augmentation to the core without charging, or at least making it so that if somebody wants to facilitate like a donation or something like that, they can do that. But it's up to them. If they feel that it's worth charging more for, then so be it. And it's up to each consumer to decide if they. But yeah, this particular director's cut where they add voice to the entirety of the story, they should charge for that, like as a DLC. But I totally appreciate that they're doing it for free, because they may have made the promise prior to the game's release that it was going to have voiceover. But doing it later is kind of like the No Man's Sky of game development now. You kind of wet the bed at one point, but then you slowly raise your performance,
Yeah,
pick up
so
your
much
game.
so that you become highly rated, right?
Yeah. Yep. Extremely well liked. I honestly, I don't know how they're doing it. They must be powered by Bitcoin or something. It's phenomenal. All right, let's keep on going though. This next article is over in WarCrafters as well. There's a VR game all the kids are playing. All the youths. Did you just say ute? So there's a VR game that all the kids are playing, and they're convinced that it's haunted. There's a game that you've likely never heard of, yet it's by far one of the most popular VR games ever made. What is ostensibly a simple game of multiplayer tag for pre-adolescent children is also, apparently the author has recently discovered, a wild hotbed of ludicrous in-universe conspiracies, fueling a genuine belief among its users, its players, that it's haunted. And it's Gorilla Tag. So we don't see the articles prior to the show, so we only get the headline and the snippet, and it piqued my curiosity to the point where I decided to bring it into this show. So it's a free MetaQuest VR game called Gorilla Tag. Is a simple idea buried beneath extraordinary conspiracy theories. John Walker over at Kotaku put the article together, and it's an odd game, but it's VR and it's fast-paced. And
Do you think that's part of why it led to this?
I have no idea. They say that a genuine belief among its players that the game is somehow haunted. One of the strangest games they've encountered in a very long time. It's the story that involves a microcosm of meme-based internet, and somehow the very first song ever sung by a computer, which I've never even heard of that. And I've been around since, I don't know, a long time ago. So it says, for Christmas 2024, they finally succumbed and bought their 10-year-old son a MetaQuest 3S. As a VR skeptic, they predict Meta will give up on it in 2026, focusing only on AR from that point. I tend to agree. They've always held off, but then the broken down peer pressure by proxy, their son's close friends were all gaming together after school via the machines, and the suddenly affordable MetaQuest latest model. So, boom, Gorilla Tag. They say it gets weird fast.
I mean, it sounds pretty straightforward, but obviously there must be more to it.
In the most popular mode, Contagion, when you get tagged, you become a lava monkey, and there's no distinction between monkeys and apes here. Sorry, naturalists. And can tag then tag others. last one tagged is the winner. That's how it starts and pretty much sums up how it was intended, at least, to be played. But then you start hearing about the ghosts. So the game itself looks like a 3D Minecraft world where these brilliantly or brightly colored gorillas, severed at the torso, all lope about the various blocky biomes in an effort to turn each other to lava. Along the way, there's fun little wintry details in the game just now, like the ability to scoop up and throw snowballs at one another and little Easter eggs. So I'm trying to get to the point where they're talking about it being haunted. So if you hear their 10-year-old playing the game, you'd think that it's somehow gotten hold of the most terrifying piece of creepypasta. They say, I saw it. Guys, I saw it. Look over here. His head's on backwards. This is inevitably followed by my yelling right back to stop scaring younger kids who might be playing, and note that they can use their phone to see exactly what he's seeing in the headset, with the ulterior motive of reassuring him it's not a ghost without making him feel patronized.
Interesting.
So, as it happens, WarCrafters does in fact have one ghost, Lucy. The skeletal gorilla was added to the game in Halloween 2022 as a joke in response to the furor among players who were convinced the game was somehow possessed. This is how you get a game banned by like lunatics. You know, a game can't just be a game because they're talking about spirits. We're going to get the what do they call it? What was it called? The satanic panic of the 80s. When I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons, there was one time where I went to a restaurant with friends that we had been going to for a couple of years. And all of a sudden they said that they refused to serve us because we're playing a satanic game, Dungeons and Dragons. Even though we would buy food and drinks, we weren't loud and obnoxious. We were always tucked away and literally told the wait staff, you don't need to wait on us. You know, we'll come and find somebody if we want to get food or drink. And they would stop by. And then all of a sudden one day it turned off like a switch. And they said that they were no longer interested in serving us, which oddly enough was probably the precipice of a turn in society where all you have to do is say, well, you know that this is discrimination. It's religious discrimination, even though it's not bound in religion in any way, shape, or form. You're still laying claim to. Well, anyway, found it really interesting. But that's what this kind of has the potential to be, as a slippery slope. And I'm kind of just linking a bunch of stuff together, but that's how the world is. There's somebody out there that thinks like that, instead of this just being a fun game for a bunch of kids.
Right. Well, I mean, are they enjoying the ghost haunted aspect, or are they getting freaked out?
Well, nobody is disconnecting. They're playing the game and they're still talking about it. This is more about hype. It's memes. It's culturally relevant, but outside of the game playing culture of this, of what's it called again? WarCrafters. Nobody cares. Just play the game, and the kids don't care. They're playing a game, and there's a spooky element to it. You know, no 10-year-old gives a crap about this, but there are adults that are sitting there trying to weigh. All right. Well, anyway, go and check it out. There's a bunch more talk about how they hear it, they see it, it's there, and the conspiracy is that WarCrafters is haunted.
Very interesting.
So there really is a lot more to this article, so go and check it out. All right, our last article for WarCrafters, January 19th, 2025 edition, is over in WarCrafters. Could pricing Grand Theft Auto 6 at $100 help save the game industry?
Okay, I have not read this article, but I don't know which direction this is going. This sounds like a high price, but
I don't get it either. Video games have never been more prevalent or elaborate, but the industry that creates them is currently facing unprecedented headwinds amid spiraling costs, intense competition, and a stagnating player base. A new market analysis suggests that breaking the current $70 price barrier on games could help ameliorate some of these issues. No, it's an indicator of out of control inflation.
Well, and I don't know, record profits to the C-suite.
Yep. Uh, Ethan Gatch, I think is their name, over at Kotaku, put the article together. I think this is ridiculous, and it's more akin to the fact that big games are made by big companies, and because there are fewer big companies due to mergers and acquisitions, and there's no competition causing superior products to be made for a reasonable amount of money, you're going to end up like the movie theaters. Fewer options, higher prices, record profits because you don't have any options.
Lower attendance.
Lower attendance, but higher prices, so you still end up with record profits. And over the last 20 years, we've documented this over the last 4 years. This is season 4 of ohmTown shows. And so what's kind of odd about this is breaking the $70 price tag. It hasn't always been $70. It became $70 during the pandemic.
Right, pretty recently. I mean, look at the inflation from like a 2019 game or something to today.
Yeah, it went from 40 to 60 to 70, all in the span of 5 years.
Yeah, and it's like the new baseline just keeps moving up and up and up.
Yep. And the problem there is money isn't created from a vacuum. Okay? It is. Money is created, put into the system, but there is a cost associated with the creation of money. And when there's fewer producers of goods and services, money gets consolidated to a select few number of people. And while you think that you're filthy rich, there are people out there that are investing money, and they're making more on interest than you will in 1 year than you will make in your lifetime, right? You could make $100,000 a minute and still not make as much money as somebody like Bezos makes per minute. Like, you could have been making $100,000. I think it's $150,000 since year 1, and you would still not have as much wealth.
Well, that's the thing, right? Some of the richest make more in a minute, an hour, whatever, than somebody will ever make in an entire lifetime.
Yep. So in 2025, GTA 6's impact on player hours and revenues will be mixed as it launches console only and severely cannibalizes hours spend that would go to other titles, reads a slide from venture capitalist analyst and author Matthew Ball's presentation, The State of Video Gaming in 2025, and this is via GameSpot, but this article, again, is from Kotaku. But there is hope that Take-Two will price GTA 6 at $80 or even $100, thereby breaking a key price barrier and enabling the rest of the market to move up. This is literally trying to be self-fulfilling prophecy. If this person is invested in GTA, Take-Two, or anything that might benefit from Take-Two piercing this glass ceiling, but I need to check something really quick while we're doing this show.
Yeah, this is just interesting. Like, there's no thought of it being at, I don't know, $60 or something, which is still a very high price for a game.
So, okay, hold on. This is from Statista, so I don't know how valid it really is. In 2018, the average price of Steam games was $11.20. In 2025, it's now $16.10.
Right, but that includes a lot of games that are lower priced.
Right. But the reason why I said it like that is because the price differential between 2018 and the steady incline, the AAA games are dramatically higher.
Right, like hundreds of percentages higher.
Correct. Yeah. So they're normally right now they're largely $60 to $70 for these AAA games. The only time you ever get bumped up to the 100 or more is when there is an early access kind of event going on. So it says this prospect is one of the several factors Ball thinks could contribute to the future growth of the gaming industry alongside things like PC gaming handhelds, the Switch 2, new genres, franchises, overhauls to mobile marketplace regulation. It says Take-Two might not need the extra money, but raising the price of GTA 6 could give cover to other companies to raise the prices as well. This is greed. This is the advice of greed.
Yeah, it is.
So it says that non-committal response certainly doesn't close the door on GTA 6 being $80 or even $100, and Take-Two is one of the first companies to push existing games into the $70 territory with the launch of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. They say this isn't the first time that somebody's brought up the idea of GTA 6 potentially breaking the $70 price barrier, because Take-Two CEO Zelnick has been asked about it on investor calls in the past and responds by saying the company wants to over deliver in terms of quality and value. So there is enough room to equivocate, a bus into the living room.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get it that the number of game hours and other things factor into all of this, but this is just like, where can we price this?
Yeah, they say that
I don't know.
The article says today that if the price were adjusted for GTA 3, it would have been $90 today. But I don't buy into that ideology, because you can't tell what the future value of money is going to be unless you make some gross assumptions. And so $50 in 2001 was $50 in 2001.
Yeah, it probably went a lot farther than it does now.
Yeah. So, well, here let's. I'm never ready for this kind of stuff.
What I'm trying to say is that I still feel like it's not apples and apples, even if it's adjusted.
Right. Yeah, because it's not. Because you have to look at what you could get back then. And so there's a whole lot of economics in this, but essentially, if you do that cultural temporal relativism, you don't know what the time value of money is looking forward unless you make a lot of assumptions, right? You can look back and go, this is what $50 was, but it's not quite equivalent, because $50 to somebody in 2001 was a lot more powerful than it is today. Anyway, in his analysis, Ball points to a number of reasons why companies are so hesitant to raise game prices. Maybe because they're going to price out a shit ton of people by making a game $80
they might
to $100.
lose their audience.
Yeah. Now, that said, I think that there is a fanatical audience for GTA in general, a huge role-playing contingent that actually live lives inside GTA. It's almost like the Oasis from Ready Player One. And people make movies and stuff like that.
Well, we know how good IOI was. Beware.
Just waiting for little blippers and stuff like that all over the screen. And we can reduce the visible screen down to 40% and make a killing in advertisements wrapping around.
Don't give any ideas.
Well, we'll see. The game is going to come out, and we'll see what the price is. They say, or this person says that $100 or even $100 game would drive the rest of the industry up. Or people look, it says here, Baldur's Gate 3 was only $60 on PC, but could have been another obvious contender for $80 or even $100. but they didn't realize just how amazing Baldur's Gate 3 would be. They believed in it, but they didn't see how it would perform.
Yeah, it was like a breakout hit, right?
Yeah, and it's just kind of like Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 never really went on sale until I think recently. But it went viral and turned the company into multimillionaires because they sold so much. And it's an ongoing concern now. And that's kind of how GTA exists. It was purchased and people are still engaged in it. It would have to be phenomenal it would have to be horrible for it to fail. And it would have to be phenomenal for people to pay $100. And I don't think people have seen enough from the leaks to warrant $100. But I'm sure that there are whales out there that have absolutely no problem dropping $100 on a game. I mean, I've paid for early access to games. $100 is actually kind of relatively cheap for early access. In the grand scheme of things nowadays. I won't do it anymore unless I think that it's my forever game. Mainly because I got burned too many times. So anyway, that is it for WarCrafters. Although it says here at this one point in the article, extra in-game items and early access to play ahead of the official launch. The Ultimate Edition of Monster Hunter Wilds is even more at $110. I've paid more for early alpha access to another game. And the 2 alphas that I've been engaged in, without a doubt, shit the bed. It was a horrible experience for me. And I'm not going to throw them under the bus because they're still in alpha. But I feel like I've wasted money and time.
Well, and of course, you could have one of those situations happen like we talked in our earlier article where the game might be pulled back.
Yeah. All right, folks. Oh, yeah, because you just never know, right? Avowed has been yeeted from the store. I don't know if it's back because I haven't logged in today, but maybe it's just getting an update and it's going to launch with the official client here on the other side. But we'll have to wait and see. All right, folks. Well, that is it. And I'm going to price us back to the front page of WarCrafters over at ohmtown.com. And we're going to shut down and rejigger everything. And we will do Technology Today, which is a deeper dive into technology and science around that tech. And you'll have to just come back and see what we talk about. If you are here in chat or over on YouTube, you see all of the links. But the chat here on Twitch, you have to hit bang TT for Technology Today or exclamation point TT, and Omatron will spit out all of the links and you'll be able to see what we're about to talk about. It has my titles for the articles, not real titles, but you'll be able to see exactly what we talk about. Anyway, I'm Merwat. I'm saying bye. See you on the other side. And I'm taking the AI with me, who's waiting patiently, still waiting patiently.
Waiting and waiting. Maybe not patiently. Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for WarCrafters. Stay tuned. We have more shows ahead.
See you soon, everybody. Bye-bye, YouTube. And see you soon, Twitch.